Right now, Roger Stone is with us, Republican political consultant, correspondent for the Daily Caller, and editor of StoneZone.com, author of The Clintons' War on Women. Hello, Roger.
Steve Malzberg, king of radio, king of television, king of the airways. How are you?
I am doing well. It's great to see you. You know, I went to CNN. I was on reliable sources. I saw
something. That. You were excellent.
But thank you. But I saw something laying on the counter. You know, they give you an ID when you walk in. So I saw them laying on the counter by the TV. So I picked it up and looked at it. It was an ID, and you had been on CNN the day before. So there was Roger Stone's ID that he left there from the day before. Just
right
so you know,
at the Clinton News Network.
And I have it, so I will return it to you when I see you in person. But I want to get to good stuff. Let's put this up on the screen. This tweet from Donald Trump today. Tell me what this means. Do you think it means? He tweeted out, remember, it was the Republican Party with the help of conservatives that made so many promises to their base but didn't keep them. High DT. I'm not sure what the high DT means, but what is that whole thing then?
I think one of Trump's great strengths is that he can appeal to both Republicans and Democrats, but also independents, because he is not a defender of the Republican establishment and the timid leadership that we have got in Washington, where they raise money through the mail, claiming to adhere to a conservative Stop Obama agenda, but then when you turn around, they're accommodating Obama, and they're giving him half a loaf at best, at worst. So I think Trump is beholden to neither party leadership, nor is he beholden to the D.C. Consultant and lobbyist class, nor the D.C. Wall Street access. And those people are wetting their britches over the prospect that he might be president.
So he wasn't running away there from being a conservative and saying, I'm going to be more middle of the road? That wasn't the intent of the tweet?
No, I think what he's saying is he will keep his promises to the base. That's what I think he's saying. That the current leadership hasn't delivered. They haven't given us border security. They haven't given us a robust economy. And he's talking about both parties because they're both in it together. They haven't given us a foreign policy that makes any sense. We're continually facing our own guns and fighting people who we heavily armed, just as Hillary Clinton armed ISIS.
Yeah.
So I don't think that is in any way. Look, I don't argue that Donald Trump is a pure conservative. He's not. He's just the best choice for conservatives in 2016 because on the big picture issues that we care about, I think he is solid, and he's a can-do guy. Unlike the other career politicians, conservative or not, who promise you everything and get nothing done. Trump actually is a doer. He can get things done. He can break through red tape and make things happen.
Right, let me
for example, at Woolman Rink.
Yeah, well, that's right outside my, that's Central Park, right, we're at Bryant Park. But anyway, let me ask you a question here. You're going to be happy with these numbers. There's a poll, and I'm surprised I haven't seen more polls on both sides from South Carolina. I'm really disappointed, but there is a poll that's out there, and it's backed up by Bill Kristol, who's a friend of mine, a friend of the show, and it's good news for Trump. Kristol said this was done by someone who doesn't back any candidate, and he puts all his confidence in this poll. And this poll has Donald Trump on top with 32% in South Carolina, Cruz at 26, Rubio at 20, Bush at 10, Kasich at 2. How do you interpret those numbers?
Well, look, I think that's closer than comfort. If I were Trump, I would be concerned about that because I can already tell you the dirty tricks in the upland areas has begun. There are massive phone banks tonight calling voters and telling them that Donald Trump is pro-abortion. Donald Trump is not pro-abortion. Donald Trump and his wife had a conversion when his last child was born very late in life for Donald, and they love that boy. They think he's precious, and they changed their view. But of course, the anonymous phone callers for Ted Cruz don't tell you that.
So this is Roger. This is Ted Cruz's camp doing this.
It is super PACs paid by Ted Cruz, according to the disclaimer. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's remember, this is a state where supporters of George Bush accused John McCain of having a mulatto child in phone calls. So anything is possible here. And it's going to get very, very dirty. Cruz has demonstrated in New Hampshire that he can take few resources and extrapolate it into many votes. He spent $500,000, virtually nothing in New Hampshire, and he still came in third ahead of Jeb by 800 votes.
Right.
Cruz should not be underestimated. Plus, he's tricky.
Well, let me ask you
He's
about a new
very,
ad.
very tricky.
Let me ask you about a new ad that he has out that's about to take to the airwaves, and it attacks Donald Trump over what I think Jeb Bush brought up about this woman in Atlantic City, if I'm not mistaken, eminent domain, and it goes into that whole thing, and it portrays Donald Trump allegedly as a cold-hearted. Are you surprised by that, and can Donald overcome that?
I'm not surprised by it. I just don't think it works. Look, at a time when Americans and others and Christians are having their heads chopped off, when our economy is in the toilet, when our streets are not safe because we might get raped or killed by an illegal immigrant because, Steve, somebody's doing the raping. And at a time that we have a completely incoherent foreign policy that seems to be dedicated to arming and empowering the Muslim Brotherhood as opposed to the best interest of the United States. Who cares about eminent domain? By the way, 7 out of 10 Americans, voters, don't know what eminent domain is because they're not a lawyer.
No, that's
and you
true.
don't have time in an ad to explain to them the government takes your land, but you get paid for your land at fair market value or more by law.
No.
A lot to explain there.
I understand that, but the ad is probably just going to portray him as kicking this old woman out of her home.
The truth of the matter is that at a time like this, with the kind of cataclysmic problems the country has,
right.
I've seen the ad. It's effective, but I think it's extraneous. It's irrelevant given our current situation.
Right,
it is, by the way, however, the first time Cruz has attacked Trump personally.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz, former top aide to George W. Bush, whose wife was a top deputy to Condi Rice when she got us into the Iraq War, and then the top aide to Robert Zoellick, the U.S. Trade Representative, when they closed the China deal that Trump likes to talk about so much. These are insiders. These are. She's a partner at Goldman. Goldman makes an illegal sweetheart loan to Ted Cruz's Senate campaign, which he fails to disclose as required by law. And he's telling us he's an outsider. Wall Street loans at a sweetheart interest rate? It's hard to believe. So I just think he's a Trojan horse, Steve.
All right, my friend. You think Cruz is a Trojan horse?
Yeah, I really do. I mean,
of
put it
who?
this way.
Of who? I mean,
Harvard, Princeton. Not too many conservatives coming out of there. So he's the guy who recruited John Roberts.
So Trojan horse, but who put him in there? Who Trojan horse for who?
No. I think he's self-styled, but he's a member. His wife's a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. He's a globalist. He has reinvented himself as a conservative firebrand exactly 4 years ago. Before that, he has long ties with the Bush family.
Roger, I gotta move it along. Always great to talk to you, my friend.
Go to StoneZone.com right now, and you can read a piece.
Go to where? Go to where?
Who is the real
say it
Ted
again.
Cruz?
Say it again. Go to where?
StoneZone.com.
You got it. StoneZone.com. Roger, thank you, my friend. Good to talk to you.